Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Swartz Talking Sports. I'm your host, Les Swartz. I am pumped about tonight's show. Al Chester introduced the concept a couple weeks ago. We're going to run with it tonight. So tonight it's up for discussion. Maybe we should change the name of the show to Up for Discussion. Sounds pretty good. I love Tony's reel earlier. That was awesome. That was a surprise. I love the way he kind of popped that up there and had us all there. So that was a great job by Tony. So tonight, up for discussion, this is going to be your show. Want to check the viewers, subscribers. We're going to have a couple of topics up for discussion. We want to hear your rebuttal, your comments. Let's go back and forth. Let's make this passionate. It's very similar to the Pete Rose situation. We're going to go there today. But let me start off tonight by thanking everybody, first of all, for tuning in and all our subscribers. We're at 944 and climbing. We got to get to that 1,000 number. So I thank everyone out there for continuing to subscribe and hit us up with comments on YouTube. So let's bring on tonight's co-host. First of all, my man from Jacksonville, Florida, the man in the middle, Al the Rattler Chester, voice of the Rattlers football and basketball broadcasts with Melvin Beal. Let's bring on Al. There he is.
My man, what's going on? It's showtime, baby. I'm excited about tonight's show as well, man. I tell you what, it's cool weather here in Jacksonville, calm after the storm. And I tell you what, I think everybody did well here in the Jacksonville area. But excited about tonight's show.
Up for discussion again, yeah. Very well wishes out to everybody that was affected by Hurricane Milton last week. It was unbelievable. We've had two in a row, so everybody we know is safe. And I'll be down there. I'll be visiting Al over the weekend. I'll be in Jacksonville Beach with Joni, the lovely chat girl. We'll be down there checking it out. So Al, just make sure you got some warm weather for us. All right.
I got you, man. I'm going to pump it in. We'll break some bread.
All right, let's do it. And let's bring on my second co-host tonight. You know him, Benny the Book, the king of Carolina. West Virginia's Benny the Book.
Good evening, fellas. How you doing there?
All right, Benny. What's up, buddy?
All right. Going on. I headed back from Florida. I traveled one day, and I was back the next day. I wasn't waiting for the hurricane to come and go over the top of me, but
That's a smart move, Benny.
Everybody's good, and all my friends down in Florida, they all weathered the storm. You, Al, everybody seems to be good. There was a few places on the West Coast that really got battered, but hopefully, most of the people are safe. They get that electricity going and get everything back to running.
Well, they need that electricity going because they got to check out Swartz Talking Sports, baby. Up for discussion tonight. We got a good one tonight. So we really looked at the stuff with the Pete Rose situation, unfortunate passing of Pete Rose. And then the debate came, should he be in the Hall of Fame based on, what did not let him get in, which is the betting in baseball. And it was real passionate. And we figured, let's start this thing up and let's make it a regular part of the show. Al came up with the Up for Discussion. I wish before we did this, that was a great name for a show, Up for Discussion, to be honest with you. But so tonight's Up for Discussion. I want to let everyone know out there, our viewers out there, it's going to be two things. It's going to be, should players who are associated with PEDs, whatever sport, most prominently baseball though, but never tested positive. They never tested. There was a book written about them by Jose Canseco. They were associated with people who had purchased and sold steroids at a time, but never tested positive by Major League Baseball. Should they be allowed in the Hall of Fame? And as to right now, those baseball writers are not including them in the Hall of Fame. And we can talk to Barry Bonds. We can talk to Mark McGwire, Roger Clemens. Those are the three biggest names that have been omitted from the Hall of Fame. You also have Sammy Sosa, you've got Juan Gonzalez, you've got Ivan Rodriguez, Rafael Palmeiro, who did test, and we'll get into it, who tested and who didn't.
Yeah.
The Mitchell report, David Ortiz is not been in. I don't even know if he's eligible yet. I think he might be now. Manny Ramirez, one of the greatest hitters of his generation, not in either. So want to open it up to everybody out there, the viewers. Let us know, should they be allowed in if they have not, tested positive. And sooner, and when we start talking about some of these players like Bonds and Clemens, we've got some video. I think Tony's got some video that he's going to bring up, and it's going to be interesting. You're going to get to see Barry Bonds when he played with the Pittsburgh Pirates in kind of hitting home runs, and look at his body type and look what he looked like. And then you're going to get to see him with the San Francisco Giants, and it looks like two different people. And then you're going to get to see Roger Clemens, who pitched with the Red Sox, and then he looks like a bulked up sumo wrestler when he's pitching for the Yankees, So, the eye test is going to show us, what do you think? But ultimately, guys, I'm just going to ask both of you. Let's go with Al first. Al, if you haven't tested positive and you didn't break the rule, should your exploits on the field be allowed to get you into the Hall of Fame?
Hands down, I believe it should. I think that what you do on the field is what really counts. And obviously, there are a boatload of players who allegedly were involved in PEDs, but it's what you do on the field, on the basketball court, on the diamond. That's what's important. That's what people see. That's what they remember. And legendary players, great players, find ways to make it happen. Now, if they try to enhance their game, whether it's lifting weights or taking PEDs or drinking a milkshake, whatever it takes to make you a better player. But I think hands down, it's your performance that should count. It's your performance that should be credited. And if you're Hall of Fame worthy, you should be in there.
Benny, your take.
Well, I think each case has to be its own individual take. Barry Bonds, he was a Hall of Famer before all of this. Why he started? He was the best baseball player that I thought was there. I think he should be in, because of his previous. Roger Clemens also. He was a Hall of Fame pitcher before. Maybe they want their ego, they wanted longevity. But in another case, a guy like Sammy Sosa, I think that really helped him become who he was. Mm-hmm. Mark McGwire was always a home run hitter.
Right.
I mean, when he was a rookie, he was hitting home runs. So I would say those guys, I would think. But Sammy Sosa, for some reason, I think that enhanced his career. So for him, but it's hard to say that if he was never tested, you can't do one for one and one for the other. So I guess I would have to say, agree with Al. I would agree with Al.
Let me throw this in there, too. I think that players realize, too, that you play the game. It's a long season. Mm-hmm. You've been playing a long time. Their bodies wear down. I think that if they did anything, it was to probably try to keep the edge, try to keep the muscle mass and so forth. But I think if you looked at the numbers, most of the guys who allegedly were involved in it, they were all great players anyway. They were, they were great players anyway. They were hitting the ball, they were throwing the ball. But I think that they were trying to keep an edge, trying to stay young. I mean, if you want to call it the fountain of youth, if you will, to try to keep that edge, to maintain that edge to play well.
Well, I look at it two ways, guys, though. I look at it two ways. I agree with you, Al, in one case that I think steroids used in a particular way is for recovery.
Recovery, yes, absolutely.
Like you said, you have in baseball especially, it's 162 games. That's just a long season. You're playing through the dog days of the summer into August, and it's hot, and you're playing sometimes. Well, I don't even know how many doubleheaders they play anymore, guys. But they play, days in a row. They don't play once a week. They play 5, 6, 7, 9 days in a row, right? But then you've got the guys that it's ego driven, okay? And I'm going to talk about those kind of guys. You got guys like Alex Rodriguez, who not only tested positive for one, but tested positive for 2 banned anabolic steroids, okay? I think that he was somebody that it was an ego thing with him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He couldn't get over what other players were doing, and he had to get there, right? Now, Barry Bonds is an interesting case, Benny. To your point, I think that he was arguably one of the top 3 baseball players during his 7 seasons. I think it was 7 or 8 seasons with the Pirates.
Yep.
He was a 2-time MVP. He led them to the playoffs a couple of times when that team was really nothing. They had other players around him, but it was really Barry Bonds' show. Bonilla was there. Vince Slyke was there. Drabick was a pitcher. It was Barry Bonds' team. But I think that he saw all the adulation, and all of a sudden, you had McGwire and these guys hitting home runs. Now, he went to the Giants way before, and this is a great video. Now look at that Barry Bonds there with Pittsburgh, and you watch him run the bases, and you look at what he's doing there, and I mean, that's Barry Bonds is a tremendous ball player. He had that whippy, that left-handed whippy swing out to right field, real quick, wristy, and he looks like a lean athlete, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, trotting around there.
Absolutely.
And now you're gonna, and then give us a couple minutes, Tony, before you throw the video with the Giants out there. But I think he was with the Giants for a couple of years and put up some good numbers with the Giants. I think he hit 39 home runs his second year with the Giants. But Then these guys started hitting home runs at a record pace, and I think that he felt that, wait a second, I'm being not forgotten about, but he wasn't being talked about in the same sentences with these guys. Even though he was a better all-around ball player, people were all into the long ball, right? It was like, how far can you hit the ball? All the home runs, breaking Maris and Ruth. And it wasn't about the all-around ball player. No one cared about his 30 stolen bases anymore. The stolen base was almost like, well, it's all about a power game now. And the balls were juiced, and guys were going deep. And now let's have Tony run a video of him with the San Francisco Giants and look at the difference with Pittsburgh. I mean, first of all, not a wristy swing, full body swing, and look at the size of this guy compared to the way he was at Pittsburgh. No doubt about it. Look at him.
He's eating a few donuts out there, Les.
He's eating a few donuts.
He's had a few donuts right there.
Al, I wish that donuts would have helped me been a better athlete, but unfortunately it just made me fat, round, and slow. Benny, you can't, you look at that, right? And I wish we almost could have a side-by-side comparison, of these, the two body types. Listen, I've gotten big, people work out, they get in better shape, they get changed. But
also, as you get older, you're gonna get bigger and thicker.
But his head size got bigger.
Yes, there were whatever anatomical things that proved he had to have taken something, even though they never tested. How he never tested, or Roger Clemens never tested, when there were guys that said, I gave him the stuff,
But guys, here's the thing. So with Pittsburgh, in 7 seasons, he hit 176 home runs. In 15 seasons with San Francisco, he had 586. He averaged 25 with Pittsburgh and 39 with the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, Brady Anderson for the Baltimore Orioles. Guy hits like 5 homers in his career, and 1 year he hits 50 something. I mean, the guy.
But the question is, guys, should he get in? And something? Sports Talking Sports, myself, my vote is Barry Bonds deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Listen, we can look at the video, we can look at the eye test, and we can think what we want. But the bottom line is he didn't cheat Major League Baseball because he never, and if he did, he didn't get caught. So he was smart enough not to get caught. They associated him with the Balco thing, but he didn't get caught.
But Les, project his numbers as he was a Pittsburgh Pirate.
Still a Hall of Famer.
Oh, no doubt about it. He's still a Hall of Famer, but he's not that Babe Ruthian type of guy. That's what he wanted to be.
No doubt. No doubt.
And it's simple, man. Like who's the all-time home run hitter? He is. But
he is, yeah.
Take 14 or 15 homers for 7 years, and he's not the home run.
But if you're a best baseball writer in America, Baseball Writers America, and you have a vote tomorrow to vote him in or not, what do you do?
Well,
I know what I would personally do.
What would you do?
I would say no.
Okay, so Benny's a no. Al, what do you say?
I would vote it in. The guy still hit the home runs, man. I still don't believe that anything that you take will enhance your eyesight. You still have to have the hand-eye coordination to hit the baseball. He ripped them when he was in San Francisco, no doubt about it. But obviously he's a bigger guy. And like Benny said, part of that's maturation. As you get older, you get bigger. The success, he's eating a few more steak and potato dinners. But I still say he's still got to have the hand-eye coordination. I vote yes, Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame.
I vote yes, Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame. I think what it does, though, is I agree. I think if you have the hand-eye coordination, you're always going to have it. I think the one thing it does do is the exit velocity of the baseball. It's like golf. If you hit the golf ball with the sweet spot and you have a nice swing, it's going to go a certain distance. But if you can increase your club head speed, hit the same spot on the golf club, the ball's going to go farther. So it's exit velocity. That's the only thing I can see. If he's hitting a home run at 395 feet, maybe now it's going 415. Now people can argue and say, well, those 15 feet, it could hit the wall. It doesn't go out to dead center field. So that's the only thing I could think of. But I vote him in. So we got some questions. So with the green lights on, and welcome back. Joni, our amazing chat girl, is back in the house. So, Joni,
thank you, Les.
Let's ring them up.
Okay. So Barry Smith, he wants to know: do they do it because of fan expectations and to get the biggest paydays?
Well, Bonds signed a massive contract with San Francisco, so I don't think it was about him trying to get money.
No.
If he did it, now this is let's premise this, guys. If he did it, okay, we think maybe a lot of people think he did. He did not test positive at all. He didn't. The only thing I think he tested for was he took a cream that was associated with Balco, and there was something called the Claire. I think that was what he did take, supposedly to mask steroids. Oh, that doesn't look too good. But he didn't, so assuming he did take them, okay, let's just make that big assumption. And if Barry Bonds is watching, Barry, we're not incriminating you. I'm saying you're in the Hall of Fame. You deserve it. You were one of the 10 best ball players that ever played the game based on stats. No doubt about it. And what he did with the way he was and the way he acted with reporters should be thrown right out. They say he wasn't a great interview. He was kind of a you-know-what. I don't care. The guy was a great ball player. Put him in. I think it was ego if he did it. I think it was ego. If he did it, Al, what do you think?
I think, too, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. I still think that guys, if they did it to keep the edge. They did it to try to stay young, keep their bodies in shape, try to recover faster. And when you think about it, I mean, we take that for granted. We watch them play baseball, and just like you said, in a 7-day span, they may play 4, maybe 5 games. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of wear and tear on your body. And until this year, those games lasted several hours. And, they got the pitch clock on them now. But I believe that if anybody took anything, it was to try to keep their bodies in shape, to recover faster, to ensure that they played at the top level each game.
Isn't that what Andy Pettitte said when he got
took
caught?
It too. He admitted to taking it.
He took it. He admitted taking it, and it was to recover faster from injuries. But now you're talking about injuries have a lot to do with a lot of things, right? What if Don Mattingly would have took steroids to help his back out?
But Benny,
he's not gonna make the Hall of Fame, but he's one of the best baseball players ever.
A tremendous left-handed hitter.
7 years, he was the best baseball player for 7 years.
But Benny, here's what happened with Pettitte, right? He took it, self-admittedly took it, but it wasn't like all of a sudden he was going from 88 miles an hour to 97 mile an hour fastballs. It wasn't like it was like this dramatic
change. He took it
change.
to recover from injury.
Exactly,
faster.
which is
he took it because it was going to help him recover.
I respect that. To prolong his career and get him through a long, long season. So do we have any more questions?
Les, how about this, though? How about this? How about the different time frames that the game was played? It wasn't available to Hank Aaron and those guys. They just hit it on raw talent. But if it was available to those guys, do you think they would have done whatever it takes to keep their bodies in shape?
Different time. I just think somebody like Hank Aaron. No.
Yeah, Al might be right, though. Maybe other guys that were a notch below. Not saying Hank Aaron, I mean, but a guy to get to that next level, to get to that superstar level. Yeah. A really good ball player says, shit, man, this could help me. I could make a lot more money.
Well, there's no doubt about it. You'd have to think about it, Benny. I'd have to too. I mean, if I was playing and I was a 270 hitter and I saw somebody on my team who I think I had better natural ability, he started enhancing himself with PEDs and all of a sudden he blew past me because of that. I'd have to think about it and go, well, I got to look at my contract. I got to look at my career. Ryan Braun with the Milwaukee Brewers is a perfect example. He got busted for it, and he was a tremendous player. And then when he got off it, he just turned into an average ball player. He wasn't a bad ball player, but he went from a perennial all-star, possibly Hall of Fame numbers, to that. And then you look at a guy like Jeff Bagwell, who, John Irwin's a big, a big friend of the show, been on the show, and he always brings up Bagwell. When he came up, he was not a home run power hitter. He was in Double-A with the Red Sox. He was a punch and Judy hitter. He wasn't a home run hitter. And then all of a sudden, midway through his career, you saw him change in his body, and he started driving the ball. But people never questioned Jeff Bagwell, and I don't know why they didn't. Because what if he took him? I mean, very well could have taken him.
Guys, I still say that everybody's body is different. So the drug or whatever they're taking is going to affect you differently. Everybody's not going to get the same results, I don't think. I think everybody's body's, the makeup is different.
Al, my body's a temple. Unfortunately, it's been condemned. Okay. Do we have any more questions, Joni?
We do, actually. So Stu Deflison said, look at Lyle Alzado.
Alzado.
Okay.
A Lawrencian from my high school.
Yankton, South Dakota College, by the way.
Okay. My father played football for Lawrence High School. I played football for Lawrence High School. My father The first game he took me to, he hadn't been to his high school game. 1966, he took me. Lyle was playing Thanksgiving against
Wow.
Long Beach. Lyle was 6'3", 185-pound defensive end. He must have had about 10 sacks that day. He went to Yankton, and in 6 months, he gained more than 60 pounds in 6 months.
And he was doing, but he was
doing horse.
he was doing
pills
everything at the time. And it's funny, speaking about Lyle Alzado real quick, you know, he was drafted by Denver, played with Denver for a lot of years. You know, I know a lot of people identify him as being a Raider because he won a Super Bowl with them, but his best years were with Denver. Went to Cleveland a little bit, but a good friend of mine who played with the Raiders with him, Darren Jordan, who was from my hometown, he tried to make a comeback with the Raiders. He took off 3 or 4 years and tried to make a comeback. And Darren said, Les, he was on everything.
Yeah.
He was on so many different, like you said, horse things and human growth hormones and everything.
Human growth hormones, HGH.
Had a great body, but the bottom line is he was like 40-something years old. He couldn't play the game anymore. Didn't matter what he looked like. He couldn't play the game.
He was in high school. He was a Golden Glove boxer.
Right. Fought Ali, didn't he?
Yeah.
He sparred with Muhammad Ali, I think.
Yeah, later on.
Was spectacular.
He was a Golden Glove boxer. He was a tremendous. I mean, he was a tremendous athlete. But when he went to Yankton in that 6 months, I'm telling you, I watched him play in Thanksgiving Day, 185 pounds, 6'3". 6 months later, he's 260 pounds.
Well, there's a guy that obviously he died.
He's a classic. He's a classic example of abuse of.
There you go.
Oh yeah,
abuse.
He totally abused,
and he admitted it before. He tried to preach to the the people.
I hear.
Look,
that's
this is going to happen to you.
He abused it. There's no doubt about it. Overused steroids. Joni, let's go another one.
Okay, Tech for Fun brought up a very good point.
Okay.
So the Hall of Fame is a nonprofit organization. It's a 501c3 organization.
Okay.
So
we have very smart viewers, by the way. Yes.
So he says, I wonder what financial benefits they get from adding or leaving out players. I think that's interesting.
I don't know. Financially, I don't know. I mean, let me ask you guys a question. If Barry Bonds got voted into the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, would you go to Cooperstown because Bonds is there? Asking a question.
The Hall of Fame is a museum that if you're a baseball fan and you love the game of baseball, you're going to go there. And whether those guys are in or those guys are not in, it might enhance it, but, his fans may go. Maybe his fans won't go.
He's an icon, and I tell you what, just like Benny said, that any Hall of Fame, whether it be baseball, pro football, basketball, it's a shrine of where players are immortalized and placed there for eternity because of their accomplishments in their respective sports. So add Barry Bonds to the list, absolutely. I think that would enhance probably some visitation because I think people like him. I think they're going to go anyway, just like Benny said. They're going to come see it anyway if they get the opportunity. But I mean, will they be kicking the door down to get there? Probably not. But I think at some point that a name like Barry Bonds, a name like Sammy Sosa, a name like Mark McGwire, you're going to see those guys, even Pete Rose. Right. People will come see that, I believe.
Okay, so besides Barry Bonds, the other much discussed name that has been omitted is Roger Clemens. And I know we got some video on Clemens with the Red Sox, and you watch him pitch. This is one of the games where he set the single game strikeout record. He did it twice. This is, I think he struck out 21 Seattle Mariners. We don't have every single one of his strikeouts. And then he did it again before he left, I think, his last game with now look at, that's Clemens with the Yankees. That's him with the Yankees. Now, look at the size of him with the Yankees, big, bulky, from the bottom down, big torso. I mean, and now, look at him with the Yankees, right? Big guy, especially from the butt all the way down. Look at him. Now, if Tony can run something with the Red Sox, this is when he struck out the 21 strikeout game against Seattle. Oh, we don't have it. I guess he didn't get that one. Okay, well, there we go. I thought I had it. Okay, well, anyways, we did have video on it. I don't know. It didn't get to Tony in time, but you see him, and he just is a very slender version of what he was with the Yankees. And I know the number 21 doesn't make him look more slender than 22, okay? So that's not it. But let's throw 3 more questions out there.
Okay.
I think it's the glazed donuts. The glazed donuts.
That's with me.
I'm actually looking at the Hall of Fame webpage here, and it does say the Hall of Fame's mission is to preserve the sport's history, honor excellence within the game, and make a connection between the generations of people who enjoy baseball.
Then Bonds and Clemens are
So,
in.
yeah. Well, it says honor excellence within the game.
Well, they're excellent at what they did, so they should be in the game. Do we have any more questions? Or?
And after a while, Pete Rose should be in the game.
No, that's fine. We're not going to get him in. Okay.
Okay, hold on.
Let's get another question. Then we're going to go to the NFL thing
Wait, I
before
gotta
this
go
thing goes
back.
on too long. So,
I got to go back. Hold on.
yep, we're
Do you think? Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Taking steroids
yeah,
to make yourself better
yeah.
is not worse than betting on your team to win the game.
Because I think you're betting on, because I think you're playing with the integrity of the game. You're compromising something that you could tank a game because of a
But
managerial.
you're doing
I'm
the same
just-
thing with taking steroids.
No, because not steroids. You're trying to be better. If you're a baseball player, listen. Pete Rose says he never bet on his own team to lose. Are there betting slips? Who said that? Pete Rose said that. You believe everything Pete Rose says? What if there's betting slips that
Well,
say
you
he bet-
obviously believe what Barry Bonds says.
No,
and take
but he's
it,
not. But he's not trying to lose a game. He's trying to be better. What if Pete Rose bets on his team to lose? He can make a managerial decision in that game to
Now,
not let the Reds win.
But did you watch Pete Rose play baseball?
I'm
Did you
talking
watch?
about him as a manager.
Oh.
He bet on his.
But, okay, so that a manager. So leave him out as a manager. He's a player. When he was playing,
still part of
Is
baseball. though.
excellence.
We can argue that one all the way. Maybe we'll put him in. So, Joan, did we get back to questions?
No,
Okay.
no more questions. Just a
Oh,
lot of
no more questions.
comments.
Okay,
and,
guys,
And we're
let's-
also doing the poll.
Let's flip this to football. So we'll talk
Yes.
about the poll too. Hey, everybody, this is a good one. Hopefully people are stuck around with 29 minutes in here. We've got greatest NFL team in history. Now, I know this spans eras. It spans the way rules were. I totally get it. I'm talking eye test. You can throw in stats there. There's a plethora of teams. You hear that? Say plethora?
Yes.
Deion Sanders out
Plethora.
there. Deion,
Plethora.
I'm just Coach Prime. You know what that means? That means a lot, many.
A
We
whole
use that here.
bunch.
A whole bunch, exactly. Plethora of teams. I'm going to go, I'll leave myself for last. Do we have any viewers out there that have a team? If not yet, we'll have Al name a few teams, but then give me what you think is the best team you've ever seen play football.
Well, because I played on an undefeated team, I'm kind of leaning toward that 72 Miami Dolphin team. Undefeated is undefeated in the way you look at it. But great teams in different eras. The Packers of the 60s. The 85 Bears, I thought, was a great team. They lost the one game, but I thought they were a solid football team when you look at across the board in all phases of the game, offense, defense, special teams. The Steelers of the 70s. I mean, you can't think about that, but I think they fall more up under, I don't know necessarily great teams, but
Dynasties.
most celebrated organization. I mean, an organization type deal. The 49ers, of course, Montana and that run they had. The Patriots, obviously, and then the Cowboys had a 3-4 year stunt where they were the best team on the planet. So I think that all these teams had great players. They had great coaches. And but when you talk about a great team, I still got to say that that the only undefeated team in the National Football League was that 72 Miami Dolphin team, and I'm gonna lean toward that undefeated team. I had that same question posed to me about our 77 team versus our 78 team at Florida A&M. We went undefeated in 77, but we went 12-1 in 78 and won the first division one AA national championship. We only lost 3 players from that 77 team, but we came right back and won it all. And it's hard really to say, really to judge, but I like to think that 78 team with the one loss might have been better than that 77 team.
All right, so you're taking the Miami Dolphins, the undefeated 72 team. I can't knock it. They played every game. They went 17-0. They're the only team to go through an entire NFL season undefeated and win the Super Bowl. So that's Al's team. Benny, who do you like?
I would due to the eye test, I would lean to the 1985 Chicago Bears. I think they were the most dominant team. They like Al said, they only lost that one game to Miami. It was kind of set up for them to lose. You said it. Jim McMahon didn't play that night. It was a Monday night game on national television, and they were going against Dan Marino when the boys were flying around the field. But that run they made to the Super Bowl, they just destroyed everybody. So I would go Chicago Bears 1985, and very close to that, I would say the Pittsburgh Steelers of the 1978, because they had a playoff run. I think that they were giving up 29 yards rushing. They gave up like only 15 points to playoff teams.
That was their first. That was their first Super Bowl when they did that. That was the first Super Bowl. Okay, so I know there's a lot of great teams, guys, right? And we can, we can micromanage this entire thing all the way down to who did what. I'll look at Al's team. I'll look at the 72 Dolphins, and I agree with you. They beat every team. My goodness gracious, they beat a bunch of garbage. The winning percentage of the teams the Dolphins beat in 1972 was .397. I think they played 3 teams with winning records the entire year. I know they won them all. They should have won them all playing that kind of a schedule. And then in the Super Bowl, they play the Washington Redskins, and they win 14-7 in maybe one of the worst Super Bowls ever played. Bob Greasy did nothing. I think he threw like 9 passes in the game. All they did was run the ball, and they win 14-7. I'm like, okay, yeah, they won everything. They were 17. And they can toast their little thing at the end of the season when the last undefeated team loses. And I know Mercury Marsh just passed a couple weeks ago, and they can do all that stuff. And that's good. That's good. They'll have the moniker, Al, forever. They're the only undefeated team to this point, no doubt about it. But if I'm looking at the eye test, are they the best team? That Chicago Bear team was tremendous. Defensively, unbelievable. Buddy Ryan's 46 defense. They got shredded by Marino that night, 45-17. But other than that, they shut everyone down. They destroyed the Patriots in the Super Bowl. They ran through the playoffs. Great team. Walter Payton, Hall of Fame running back, maybe the best of all time, arguably. Can't argue with that, right? I'm going to go with the 1989 San Francisco 49ers. They finished 14-2. The 2 games they lost were by a total of 5 points to teams that were 10-6 and 11-5. They had 6 all-pro players, not Pro Bowl, but all-pro players on that team. They outscored their opponents in the playoffs 126-26, including a 55-10 drubbing over Denver and John Elway in the Super Bowl. And you want to talk about stats. Joe Montana, Al, you'll love this. During that playoff run, 78% completions, 800 yards, 11 TDs, 0 picks.
0 picks.
146.4 passer rating. No one's ever done it better. Nobody has ever done it better. And by the way, Dan Marino, after one Super Bowl, did he ever make it back to a Super Bowl? I don't think he ever made it back.
Rookie got to the Super Bowl, never made it back.
So I love Dan. I love his. Listen, I love him in Pet Ventura.
Hey,
he was great.
Where did Joe go to college?
Listen, Joe went to Notre Dame. Okay.
My favorite Notre Dame is
Joe. I'm going to get you a Joe Montana autographed helmet one of these days, Benny's. But I'm a huge Joe Montana fan. So
did Jim Biankowski send something in? He has Jerry Rice and Joe Montana signed helmets and shirts. He knows them personally.
Well, I'm surprised we're not getting any questions. This is like a huge thing.
He said he had
No, I'm trying to keep track of all the votes that we're getting on all the teams.
Votes. Right,
so
guys, forget about the votes here.
Yeah,
come on, chat girl.
Come
on.
No.
Read some chat.
Okay.
So
the green light's not on.
Well, I know. I'm still adding stuff up here.
All right.
So
Joni's adding stuff up.
Give me a second.
We're running around. You know something, guys?
He's been adding up stuff all day.
We've never done this. Tony,
I
we've never
have
done this.
been, right?
We're going to throw an audible on tonight's show real quick. We're going to go to commercial. And I want to come back and hopefully
do you want to hear the scores?
Huh?
I have some of the scores I can give you.
Scores?
Yeah. So 3 people wanted the 2007 Patriots.
Okay.
3 people wanted the 72 Dolphins. 3 people wanted the 1985 Bears.
Well, 3, 3, and 3.
3, 3, and 3, yes. So we've also have the 1984 San Francisco 49ers.
That was my.
They weren't
third
as good as
choice.
the '89
That-
49ers.
That was
Okay,
my
got it.
third choice.
The 92 Cowboys.
That's Danny Kistard. I know that.
No, it's not.
No.
No, Barry.
Can you tell who's doing this? Who's? Can you tell who's voting for these?
Yes.
Well, tell me.
Oh my God.
Tell me who's voting.
You're killing me. You're killing me. Okay. Let's see. Barry, 92 Cowboys.
Barry, the '92 Cowboys. Okay, yeah.
James, Benny's brother-in-law, 1984 San Francisco 49ers and the 1985 Bears. Tony, the Dallas Cowboys, the Landry years.
They won one. Oh, they won two. Sorry.
Matt Dunn, 91 Buffalo Bills.
Matt, the Bills, they lost.
Okay, but he gives an
They
explanation.
lost every year.
Matt,
says-
Matt must be with the Predators. He got a puck in the head or something.
Wait a
I
minute.
think.
He says he has an explanation why he voted for it.
Okay, let's hear
It's
it.
tough for me as a Pats fan, but that Bills team was dominant in all three phases of the game and
They
just
were.
one wide right field goal from being Super Bowl champs.
Yeah.
No, that's
Against
true.
the-
No, that's
against
true.
the Giants.
That's true.
Kicking
But
46-yard field goal off the grass.
do
Hey, and
you
I tell you
really
what,
think they were better
what's
than
significant.
this?
What's significant is they did that 4 years in a row,
Right.
back to
Yep.
back to back.
See,
So that has to count for something. I mean,
But they
They
lost. They,
have to
lost.
be-
They lost. And they lost.
but to get to the
but to
Super
get
Bowl,
there,
4
Les,
years in a row.
they beat the teams every year to get there.
But they lost. But that was back when the AFC was
Well,
not very strong.
I definitely don't think they were the greatest team.
No,
that
tremendous feat, absolutely tremendous feat, winning it 4 years in a row. But guys, got to remember this though: the AFC back then was pretty weak. The NFC had the powers. You had San
yeah.
Francisco, Green Bay, Dallas. I mean,
Yeah.
those three teams were juggernauts. Look,
Yeah.
and the Giants and the Redskins.
Giants.
Okay, between Dallas, Washington, San Francisco, Green Bay, and those four, they won like 9 Super Bowls.
And then you had the Rams sprinkled in there.
Yeah, the Rams.
The
yeah,
greatest show on turf.
Yeah,
there.
greatest show on turf, and they lost to the Patriots. But okay, so I mean, all right, so I got my pick. I like the Niners. I love Jerry Rice. I love Joe Montana, Roger Craig, Ronnie Lott, Eric Wright. I mean, even Matt Millen played on that team, right? I mean, that was
I voted on number 3, but I voted the 84 number 3,
wow,
not the
okay.
89. I don't even have the 89 written
Do you want to
down.
hear the rest of it?
Yeah, let's hear the rest of it.
Okay. All right.
Say the rest.
So Stu, he says 67 and 68 Packers.
Yeah, but Fuzzy Thurston weighed 186 pounds. How could he block against the guy?
Different era now. Les,
That's
we
true.
talked about
That's true.
that now.
That's true.
Different era. They were the dominant team of the 60s.
They were, and they beat Kansas City and they beat the Raiders in the first 2 Super Bowls. We're talking NFL. They had won the NFL championship. They didn't play the AFL teams, but yeah, they beat Kansas City and they beat the Raiders. Darryl LaMonica and Lenny Dawson.
They beat the best at the AF.
They did.
Hell
They
had
did.
to
All
offer.
right, it's not a bad pick. I like them all. You can't really argue. They're all good teams, right? They're all good teams. Let me ask you this out there. Do you have to win a Super Bowl to be considered the greatest? Do you have to? So Buffalo, Matt brought them up. Tremendous teams, tremendous feat, but they never won it. The Patriots in 07 were on a remarkable run. I mean, they were blowing teams out the first 14 weeks. I mean, by like 12, 14 points every game.
I think more than that, Les.
Oh, even
I think
more.
like
Yeah, it was
20
some
points
crazy
a
thing what
game.
happened there. And
That's
then
when they set all the records.
and they were heavy favorites against the Giants, and they lose. Now, let me ask everyone out there: what if the Patriots had beaten the Giants? Would they be? Is it hands down they're the greatest team of all time? If they had gone 18-0,
I think so.
Hey, you factor in the evolution of the game because cornerbacks could walk up and they could beat the receivers up back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
That whole concept changed when you got Brady and those guys throwing that ball around. So I mean, the evolution of the game has to play a role in how do you identify the greatest team of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to throw this out there to the viewers and our subscribers out there. This is up for discussion. Let us know what topics you would like us to tackle next time. We're going to talk greatest franchise, greatest dynasties, greatest dynasties in history across all sports. Greatest NFL coach of all time. That's an interesting one because you got Deflategate and Spygate and Schuler and his committee on his, or him being, on the committee, the head of the committee. Did he get preferential treatment? Does Marv Levy get any love for taking the Buffalo to 4 straight Super Bowls, right? Vince Lombardi, the godfather of the NFL, right? So there's a lot of ways we can go, but let's leave that up to the viewers. You let us know what subject you would like us to tackle next week on Up for Discussion. So with that, we're going to go to a commercial break. We're going to come back with Al, the Rattler. No recap. We're going to talk about the Rattlers game this week and the HBCU game of the week, and then we'll have Benny's pro and college picks. We're going to do that right after this.
Millie's Ice Cream Shop, a full-service store in the Waterford Shopping Plaza of Leland, offering an array of tasty treats, including both hard and soft ice cream in a variety of flavors and delectable combinations to appeal to even the discerning palate, assured to put a big smile on everyone's face. Stop by today to enjoy your satisfying experience.
Welcome back to Swartz Talking Sports. I'm your host, Les Swartz. Man, I could really go for one of those Millie's ice creams right about now, but I promised Joni that I'd stay off the sweets because my sugar's too high. Can you tell? I'm going crazy. So anyways, thanks everybody for all your input, comments, questions. That was really, really good. Good up for discussion moment here. So let's go, Al. You didn't have a game last week. The Rattlers did not play last week, but who are we playing this week?
Well, here's what we got. We're going to recap last week game of the week. It was the Grambling Tigers versus the Alcorn Braves. I picked Grambling to beat Alcorn, but actually Alcorn took care of business. They beat the Tigers 17-15 in Eddie Robinson Memorial Stadium. So that was a tough matchup, good conference game, and I think the viewers and the fans got a chance to see some good football. Now this week, you got our game of the week. For the Rattlers, we travel to Jackson State. We play our first, that's going to be a dogfight with these guys. Always has been. We travel to Mississippi to play Jackson State on Saturday at 3 o'clock. It's going to be on ESPNU, and they've got a good ball club. We expect big things. They got one little guy back there, man, who can run that we got to make sure we wrap and tackle. But I think if we can play our football game, our guys we had another bye week, so we've had a chance to lick some more rooms, get recovered, and we're off and running now, so it should be a great matchup. But our game of the week is going to be Howard Bisons versus Tennessee State. Now, these two great programs. The game is going to be in William Green Stadium in Tennessee, Saturday, October the 19th, 3:30 kickoff. The head coach for Howard is Larry Scott. Right now, they're 0-0 in conference play. They're 3-3 overall, and they're coming off a victory over Sacred Heart. They beat them 21-14.
Okay. Now,
Tennessee State head coaches, everybody knows Eddie George. Eddie George has been there for a couple, 3 years now. They too have not played a conference game, but they're 5-2 overall. He's turned that program around. They're doing some great things. They're coming off a 41-17 victory over Eastern Illinois. That game is going to be on ESPN TV, and it should be a great matchup. I'm leaning toward Eddie and his guys, those Tigers from Tennessee State, to take care of business against Howard.
I would put money on it that Eddie George is in such tremendous shape. He could run the football right now for Tennessee State and be better than half the players he's got. That's what kind of shape Eddie George has always been in. That's for former All-Pro, all-everything out of Ohio State. Is he in the Hall of Fame?
No, he's not.
No.
Yeah, well, you know something? He should get a look too. I guarantee you. He was a tremendous running back in his day. All right, guys, college football. We got, I'll tell you, we got some big games this week. Huge games. Before we go to Benny's picks, I'm going to circle 3 games at you guys. And first of all, I think hopefully Tony got my graphics on this one. I got a top 12 this week. So let's see if we can run up today's top 12. Now, guys, interesting thing. I think starting next week, they're going to start doing the college football playoffs the way it's going to be. So this is going to change because your first 4 teams that are going to be slated to have a bye are going to be conference champions. So that's going to change a little bit. It's not going to necessarily be the 4 best teams, but who you think are going to be the conference champs. But I got the Texas Longhorns now solidly entrenched at number 1. I love the Ducks beat Ohio State in a tremendous game Saturday night. We can talk about the exploits of Dylan Gabriel, outstanding. I thought Will Howard had a great game for the Buckeyes too. A little clock management killed him. I got Miami moving up. Penn State, a big win on the road, double OT, or was it OT against USC? I know that one killed Stu. He was at that game. The Buckeyes got him falling to 5 in a close one. Georgia goes to 6. I'm moving up my Brigham Young Cougars, because we got Jake Retzlaff. Hey, a Jewish quarterback at Brigham Young University, a Mormon school. BY Jew, baby. BY Jew. I got to follow this kid, so I got Brigham Young at number 7. The Tide drops to 8. Guys, we can talk about their defense. They are not looking like a Alabama defense at this point. Iowa State, big win over West Virginia. I took Benny's West Virginia Mountaineers. I got stumped there. Clemson, like the way they're rebounding. Boise State with Ashton Jeanty, and I dropped Tennessee to 12. Ole Miss drops out of the rankings. They lost a game to LSU, who I very easily could have put in the top 12. But I want to see what they do in Arkansas this week. If they can go to Arkansas and Little Rock, and they can beat a good, solid Arkansas team on the road, I'm willing to put LSU in my top 10 next week. But, guys, anything surprise you there, or you think Texas is number 1?
No, it looks pretty good, Les. Looks pretty good. Clemson, do you know that they've won like 10 out of the last 11 games since last year when they had that little losing streak where they didn't. And the Georgia game was a 3-point game at halftime, the first game of the year. And they just fell apart in the second half. But they really rebounded.
Yeah.
They look pretty good. I mean,
Playing well.
you're gonna do they meet Miami in the regular season?
I don't think they play Miami in the regular season, which is going to be interesting.
That would be the big game.
And so you got these games, right? But then you've got some big matchups this week. Al, we got
Alabama, Tennessee.
You got Alabama, Tennessee, but you got the real big one. You got Georgia going to Texas.
Yeah,
that's going to be a dogfight right there.
Yeah, that's
no pun intended. Yeah.
So, like I told you at the beginning of the year, I think Georgia lost too many guys.
Yeah,
I mean they're not as dominant on defense. That Texas is going to be able to score on them.
Yeah, I like Texas to win this game by 10 points. Believe it or not,
Yeah,
I think they're for real.
I didn't have them in my picks, but now that I'm thinking about it,
no, not in your picks.
I think over the next couple of weeks you're going to see the landscape, like you said, Les, of the top 12 teams lock and load themselves. Last week, though, I thought Dylan Gabriel was the best quarterback in the country.
Yeah.
I think he played probably the better game of all the quarterbacks collectively. Everything that he did. I saw him play down at Central Florida, man. I thought he was a real deal before he got hurt. He could run, he could throw. He's magical with those legs and a superb leader. But this week you got some great matchups, and I think every week, the next couple of weeks, I think some of this stuff is going to kind of air itself out. We're going to be able to really lock in on these guys, to include your Heisman hopeful, Les, as well. I mean, I think you're going to see that the shoe kind of shine on those players as well.
Well, give me a quick pick. So let's not analyze, but just give me a quick pick. I'm going to throw games at you guys. Benny, this is not your games of the week, but give me a quick pick. Georgia, Texas. Al?
Texas.
Benny?
Texas.
Okay.
Like you said, bigger than 7.
Okay. You got Alabama traveling to Tennessee.
I think Alabama is going to beat Tennessee. I wasn't impressed with Tennessee's offense. Now, Alabama let their defense stay on the field too long, and they get worn down, and that's the offense fault because they're not being productive, not eating up long drives. But I think at some point, Bama needed to get that win because of the emotional loss they had. So I think they're going to get back on track. Tennessee got a young quarterback. I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on him, but I'm going with Bama.
Okay.
I agree with Al absolutely because the Tennessee quarterback came out with all the fanfare at the beginning of the year, and he played very good. But I've watched him the last couple of games, always trying to throw the bomb, the big plays. I don't know if their linebacker, their coach on the field, he left the game last week, and their defense didn't look as dominant as it did at the beginning of the year. I think Milroe will score some points. It's just dependent on. I think Alabama's defense will hold them. I like Alabama. Also.
I like Tennessee. I like Tennessee. And Al, to your point about Ayamalieva, he does. Benny, he does try to throw the bomb. He's got to give with the, he's got to take what the defense gives him.
Yes.
You got to take the checkdowns. Listen, I've not played the position. I'm not Al Chester, quarterback at Florida A&M. But, you got to take it. If it's there for 5 and 6 yards, you can't force it downfield into double coverage or triple coverage.
But I don't think that's their offense. I think that's what
it is. But he's got to learn. That's the maturation of a quarterback. He's got to be better and make better decisions than trying to force the big play. Take it down. Take the 8 and 9 yard play. Take off with your legs. He's a great running quarterback, right?
Yeah, listen, and they got to help him with that too. When you got a young quarterback, you got to put him in position to make some short throws, gain some confidence. But I'm like you, take what they give you, then later on you take what you want. But I mean, when they set it up, let the young quarterback get some confidence. You got to throw the short hitches, the small stuff, get it to your playmakers, but let him get some confidence. And I think it'll help his development.
Well, get him into a rhythm. When he gets into a rhythm, he's a very, very great quarterback. He's a great quarterback when he gets into rhythm. All right, real quick, the last one, Indiana, Nebraska. This is an interesting one. You got the kid Rourke, the transfer from Ohio University that ESPN's got up for a top 5 Heisman. He's lighting it up. They're averaging 45 a game, and they're playing Dylan Raiola, the all-freshman everything from Nebraska. Who wins? Quick.
But I tell you what, this is going to be a big test for Indiana because they go to Nebraska. I think Matt Rule does a good job of coaching those guys up out there. It's going to be a big test. They're going to see a different kind of football team with Nebraska. That's going to be a dogfight. They're undefeated. They feel comfortable that they be in Indiana, but I think Nebraska is going to probably put them in their place.
Benny, Indiana or Nebraska?
I'm going to go with Indiana, the home team.
No, Nebraska's the home team.
Nebraska's the home team. They go to Nebraska.
Or maybe they don't.
No, this game's at Indiana.
Oh, it's at
Nebraska's at Indiana. Nebraska's at Indiana.
Okay, that changes things a little bit, Al.
Yeah. I changed my mind then. I'm going back with the undefeated team in Indiana. I mean, good call, Benny.
They're averaging 521 yards a game. And
they're doing something right.
And Nebraska's defense is giving up 300 yards a game. So
it's going to be interesting.
It's good. It's going to be. It should be a high-scoring game, but I have a feeling that Indiana's going to pull this one out.
Okay, before we go to
Indiana's coach is the guy who was at Georgia Southern. He brought a bunch of his players with.
Oh, Indiana's coach was at he was Signetti, JMU.
I'm sorry, James Madison.
Yeah,
that's right. Madison. And he brought a lot of his players with him from James Madison.
Sure did.
Great stoic program, and I tell you what, they understand what he wants, and I tell you what, we've seen it because they're 5-0, right?
They're 5-0 right now, and I'll tell you one thing, guys. They get by this game. They got Michigan and Ohio State in November.
6-0.
If they 6-0. If they somehow get by those teams, you're going to hear a lot about this kid Rourke for the Heisman. But before we let Al go and we bring Benny's picks up, I just want to run the Heisman. I think Tony's got the Heisman, my top 5 Heisman picks so far this year going in. So we've had an omission here. Jalen Milroe, to me, has played his way out. ESPN agrees with me. I now have Ashton Jeanty. I've got him as number 1. I really do. I got Cam Ward there, but I think Jeanty has been unbelievable. Ward's, pulled some great wins out of his pocket there at the end of the game. I agree, Al. Dylan Gabriel was the best quarterback in the country last week, and he's getting better in that offense. Travis Hunter got hurt in the game last week. It really hurt Colorado, too, because he got hurt in the second quarter, and he did not return. And they're saying he's going to play this week, a shoulder injury, but that really hurt Colorado down the stretch. And Quinn Ewers came back in the game and won a big one last week. So he looked pretty good in that game against Oklahoma. That's the Red River rivalry. And he didn't make any, he made, I think he threw a pick on his first or second pass, but after that, he was lights out.
He had 2 bad, the first two or three drives were bad.
And then he settled in.
Then he started loosening
he settled in. All right, well, guys, we're 56 minutes in. Al, listen, good luck this week in Jackson, Mississippi against Jackson State.
Good luck, Al.
Joni and I will be seeing you. We are going to make it by hook or by crook. We're going to see you this weekend in Jacksonville.
We'll make it happen, guys. Take care. Y'all guys be safe. And,
all right, Al.
Go Rattlers. Go Rattlers.
Go Rattlers. All right. We'll be back with Benny the Book's College and Pro Picks after this.
High Tide Chiropractic, located in Leland, North Carolina, off Village Road. Dr. Levi Bradburn and his team specialize not only on spinal and extremities care, but also focus on sports injuries and a variety of chronic ailments. Treatment plans may include diet and lifestyle behavioral modification to achieve optimal health. Call us to schedule your free consultation, and we will design a personalized program to meet your needs. It's time to get the results you deserve.
This is Les Swartz talking sports. Here we go. You got me on the left. Thanks to Al Chester for joining in and doing the whole up for discussion segment. That was awesome. It was great. Love to get the input from our viewers and subscribers out there. We got Benny the Book on the right. All right, Ben, hopefully you've thought out from a cold day at golf today. We're 57 minutes in. We got to go quick.
Okay.
Let's get your college picks. Let's do your 3 stars and then go to your 2 stars.
All right, we got a top 25 matchup. You got Michigan at Illinois. Illinois is the home team getting 3 points. I'm going to go with the Fighting Illini plus the 3 points against Michigan.
You're taking the Fighting Illini. Okay, former Ole Miss quarterback Luke. I forget what Luke's last name is, but he's the starting quarterback at Illinois. You're taking the Illini. Okay, we got number 2.
My second game, I'm going to go with Arizona at home, laying 4 to Colorado. I think Colorado will be on a downswing. Arizona's quarterback very good. You know, not doing what he did last year, but they got a very good offense. I think they should win that game by a touchdown or more.
And I picked Arizona to win the Big 12, but you're right. Fafita and McMillan's a big combination. If Hunter is slowed in that game, that's going to really affect the ability to stop that passing combo. Okay, up next.
Now, my third pick, I'm going to apologize to you before Arkansas. Pretty tough team. This will be a good test for LSU. Yep. I'll take the 2.5 with the home team underdog. I'm a home team underdog better. LSU played a great game last week. Their quarterback, excellent. But I gotta give Arkansas the nod on this game.
Can't argue with that.
I think they're going to win this game.
I know LSU coming off an emotional high, coming back last play of the game and then winning it in overtime in the first play.
That was a big game.
I can see Arkansas actually winning this game in a close one. Okay.
Next game, I'm going to take the Florida Gators laying 1 to Kentucky at Florida.
Okay.
Before last week, I probably would have took Kentucky in this game, but Kentucky didn't play so well last week. The prior week,
Vanderbilt Commodores,
and Vanderbilt's probably better than I think. But I'm going to go with the Florida Gators at home, save their coach's life for another week.
All right,
so get them a win.
Maybe it stays off the schneid for one more week. All right.
And the last game, Washington State is at home against Hawaii. I'm going to lay the 19.5 points with Washington State.
Wow, it's a lot of points, Ben.
Yeah. But Hawaii gives up a lot of points. So,
well, John Mateer, the quarterback at Washington State, a dual threat kid. He's a heck of a quarterback.
Yeah, the Washington State, they got a pretty good team. You know, they're and Hawaii's traveling, coming over the ocean there, and I just like Washington State to put up a big number against them.
Are the Hawaii Rainbows, they're going to be rowing across from Hawaii over to Washington? Are they going to be taking the slow boat? Okay.
No,
all right. So
canoe.
Okay. The canoe. They're going to take the canoe. Okay. So we got. Let's look at your NFL picks. I think you went 2-2 last week. 14-10 overall. We're still got our head above water there, Ben.
Head above water. I'm going to start with the Minnesota Vikings, laying 2.5 to the Detroit Lions. This would have been a great game, but I think the loss of Hutchinson is really going to hurt the Lions. I mean, he's a tremendous defensive player. He's a game changer. You know, he could really do some things, but the Vikings are a very good team. So I'm going to go with the Vikings laying the 2.5 at home.
Let me ask you a quick question on that one. Did the Lions go out and grab Max Crosby from the Raiders?
No, they're going to try to. They could get who's the
Haason Reddick?
Reddick. They can get him for nothing. I mean, if they go to Crosby, it's going to cost them.
But you said Crosby's a Michigan guy, went to Eastern Michigan University.
Yes, he is a home. That would be a home team thing.
Okay.
And the Raiders seem to be getting rid of everybody now.
Okay. Next up.
Next game. This game opened as Pittsburgh laying 2 to the Jets. They made the trade, and the latest line is Pittsburgh +1. I'm going to stay with Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I just think the Jet offensive line no matter how many great players they have on the outside, they're not going to be able to protect Aaron Rodgers. And I don't know if he's going to make it through the year. So I'm going to stick with that Steeler defense. And I'm going to take Pittsburgh +1 against the Jets.
Devontae Adams, big pickup by the Jets, and the Bills get Amari Cooper later on that day. So interesting stuff in the AFC East. Okay, you like Pittsburgh? Who do we got next?
The Washington Commodores.
The Commanders. Let's just call them the Redskins, okay?
Yes, Washington Redskins.
Thank you.
Laying 7.5 points to the lowly Carolina Panthers.
This is a layup, Benny. This is a layup.
Yeah, our team just don't have anything. They have nothing.
Not my
They have
team.
Nothing. Well, we're North Carolinians.
We live in North Carolina.
But you're not a Massachusetts Minuteman anymore. You're a North Carolina boy.
Okay. I think Jaden Daniel, who's played fantastic, he's going to light it up this week.
It's amazing to watch him. You would think he was in the league for 10 years.
The Hoffman boys in D.C., Maryland area.
And you know what? They got it all. I mean, besides they got very good wide receivers. Their defense, they're playing a complete game.
Good team.
And Carolina is horrible.
Okay.
And my last game, I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Falcons, laying 3 against my Geno Smith Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
They lost last week at home. He wins. Their quarterback, he wins. He wins regular season games. He gets his team to the playoffs. And he don't do it then, but he gets his team there.
Like Al says, he can get yourself to the door, but he can't kick it in come playoff time, right?
So those are my 4 games.
Okay, so I got to look at the thing. You got the Vikings, you got the Steelers, you got the Redskins, Commanders, Commodores, and you got the Falcons. And you got the Falcons. All right.
Hopefully I'll
let's have another 4-0, Benny. That'd be the third week you go 4-0.
I got a good feeling this week. I got a good feeling. I'm a little nervous with that Pittsburgh line flipping, but their defense, and we're gonna have a party. We're gonna Monday night. Oh, you're gonna be gone.
I'll be gone.
So we got the Pittsburgh Steve Gelati. We're gonna get together, and the Jets Gary Bush, and we'll have a little party.
All right. Well, we'll miss that one, but we'll have a party on November 2nd. Anyway, so listen. Also, before we go tonight, real quick, I want to thank everybody for signing up and playing in today's Brunswick Literacy Council golf outing down at Brick Landing in Ocean Isle. It was outstanding.
Had a very nice time.
Yeah, everybody really enjoyed it.
A lot of fun.
Cold, windy. But
it warmed up a little bit.
Yeah, the staff was great, and everybody at the Literacy Council was outstanding. So a very special thanks to them for making us feel right at home. They had the Swartz Talking Sports sign out there. We'll have to, maybe next week, Tony, we'll put up that picture with the Swartz Talking Sports, and also the prizes that we gave away. So and the keychains and everything, Tony came through with those. So I want to thank everybody there for participating and everybody for showing up and supporting a great, great cause. And I don't say that just because I'm in love with the chat girl. I say it's a great, great cause anyway. So, but anyways, listen, great show tonight. I'll be doing the show remote next week. I'll be in Florida with Joni on vacation, but we will be doing the show. We're going to be having a special guest. We're going to kind of do a little fitness show next week. We got a celebrity fitness trainer on. Check out your shorts to see who that's going to be. It's going to be interesting. He'll talk about who he's trained in Hollywood, Tinseltown, and New York. So this should be interesting. So
you want me to wear my workout uniform next week?
Yeah. Well, this is going to be you're going to definitely have to start taking what this guy says and start doing it. And by the way, everyone, let you know, the day before Halloween, we're doing a special Halloween show. We will be dressed up. I will be going as Benny. Benny will be going as me. No, I'm kidding. We're going to have our own kind of things. It's going to be fun. But for Al the Rattler Chester, for Tony the Tiger Smeraldi, my amazing chat girl Joni, everyone here at Swartz Talking Sports, thanks so much. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Wednesday, 8 p.m.